Hey guys, what's up, Karaka here, and today I'm here with another Digimon deck profile. Today we'll be going over the Examon deck, which is a very highly anticipated deck because it is the last missing Royal Knight in the game. So without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. We're just going to go over everything running, and as well as some options that you can choose if you choose not to run the ratios that I'm going with. And the setup today is a little bit different because I am in my new place right now. So let me know if you guys have any opinions about the setup. But without further ado, let's get right into the deck. First up, we are running 4 baby Digimon. This is the new Tama from EX-03. It gives you extra 1k power whenever one of your Digimon becomes unsuspended, which there's a lot of ways to do in this deck, so it's not bad. And this deck doesn't have a lot of ways to gain power, so it's nice to have. Next, for the level 7s, we're running 3 Examon. So this is the new boss monster of the deck, and obviously it's a pretty good card. So on Digivolution, you can place one of your green or blue Digimon with Dramon to the bottom of this card's source, and then if this card's DNA Digivolve, you can play a Dramon card with 12k or less DP without playing its memory cost. And then the second effect is when this card becomes suspended, if the card becomes suspended, you can unsuspend this Digimon, and then you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon instead. So overall, a very, very powerful card, and there are a lot of ways for this card to suspend itself. You can either attack while you're on your turn, and on your opponent's turn, you can either evade or block. So it's a pretty beastie monster, and yeah, I quite like it. And it's just a nice card to have. And next, we're running 4 Digimon. This is one of your main attackers in the deck. So the good thing about this deck is, even if you don't go into your Examon, your level 6s are still pretty good. This card just lets you attack this card whenever it rests. You can make this card active again, so whenever you attack, you can unsuspend it. Or if you have a block on the source, you can block with it and it suspends again. Because it works on both players' turn. And then at the end of your at the beginning of your opponent's turn, you can rest this Digimon to make your opponent attack. So they're forced to attack. So pretty cool. It doesn't have to be this Digimon. You can suspend any of your Digimon. So you can suspend your Examon. So when you suspend your Examon, this card's unsuspend, and they're gonna attack. So you can use it to block or whatever. So you can do some pretty nifty things with this deck. I'm still playing around with the deck a bit, just because I haven't had too much time to playtest it. But this is an experimental build, so if you guys have any opinions or any suggestions, you guys can let me know. Next, we're running 3 of the Break Dramons. So this card, I'm mainly running this card for this source and his ability to trash your opponent's security just by deleting one of your opponents and surviving the battle. So it's a pretty generic green effect. A lot of green cards have this skill. By whenever you battle and delete something, you can just trash security. So it's one of the ways to bypass against decks that heavily rely on their security. So yeah. And the evade skill also really helps this deck. So next, we're running 4 of the Wing Dramon and 4 of the Core Dramon. Now these are your main level 5s that you're running. We're not running any other level 5s. This card just gives your Dramon or Examon evade, and this one just gives your Dramon and Examon blocker. And they also have a pretty cool skill, main skill, that lets them be treated as a level 6. So you can pretty much skip your level 6s if you don't have them in your hand, or if you want to save them for a later date. So this is one of the reasons why I think this deck just is made better than the Ragnarok deck. It's a lot faster, and you know, the cards are just synergized with each other a bit more. Though recently I have seen some Ragnarok decks that are doing that have topped some tournaments. They're not huge tournaments, but they are topping now. There's some people are having a good time with some of the builds using the Baihumon. Anyway, we're talking about Examon this deck for this video. So we're gonna go on with the level 4s. So we're running 4 of the Airdramon. No, this is Cordramon. Grounddramon and Wingdramon. Sorry, did I call this Cordramon? No, I don't remember. Anyway, this is the Cordramon. So Cordramon just has evade, and it gives your Dramon and Examon evade as well. So it's kind of like a weaker version of this, but that's what happens when you evolve. Anyway, they evolve for 2 on top of Dracomon, so you can not worry about it being a 3 cost. And next we're running 4 of the Cordramon that's green, so this is the green version, and this one gives you blocker, so pretty good. Next we're also running 3 of the start deck Cordramon. So mainly we're running this because you can play this from security, and then you can draw 2 for doing that. Or if you're really stuck, you can just hard cast it for 6 and then draw 2. Not a great idea, but it's better to do if you are breaking. At least you can get some draws. And then you can Digivolve on top of this for 3 with both your Wingdramon and your Grounddramon. So you know, this is one of the only other options we have for the build. So we're running the start deck Cordramon. I do see some people running the hybrid cards, which is also an option. You get some cheap shots in, you can run the hybrid stuff instead. You don't need to run them huge amounts, you can just run like a couple, and then you can save your other slots for other cards that we will talk about later. Alright, next for the level 3s, we are going to be running 4 of the new Dracomon. This one helps you search for Examon as well as a blue or green, I think Dramon. Yeah, Dramon card, which the majority of your deck is. So this one helps you search for a bit more, and it looks at the top 4, so that's pretty good. Next, we're running 4 of the Dracomon from the start deck. Start at 8, which just helps you search for any Dramon card. No color restriction, which doesn't really matter, but you can't search for your Examon, which is kind of bad, but you can search for the rest of the deck, which the rest of the Dramons, so that's okay. And it only looks for top 3. So if you want to hard cast something, definitely hard cast this one instead. You can just slap this in your raising area, and mainly you just want it because it has the Dracomon name. And next we are going to be running 4 of the Moto, what is this called? It looks like Betamon, but it's not Betamon. I think it's Modoki Betamon. Yeah, Modoki Betamon. So it is a Betamon. This card helps you kind of choke your memory, opponent's memory. They can't gain any memory except with Tamer effects, which is pretty good in this current meta. There are a lot of cards that decks that still run the memory boost, so this one kind of stops them from getting memory back when they play their memory boost. So yeah, if you guys want to run other level 3s instead, you can. I think popular option is the Pearl one. I forgot what the name is, but I think it's Psychomon. That one helps you stop your opponent from reducing their Digivolution cost. And then I think some people also run the Vmon, the jamming Vmon, just so you can get some cheap shots in. Alright, next let's go over some of the Tamers. So for the Tamers, we're going to be running 3 Davis. This card searches for all Digimon in your deck because all your Digimon are blue or green. So you can either search for both, or you can, if you get one, that's fine as well. But yeah, this is obviously the best Tamer for this deck. I mean, obviously they unintentionally made him so good for this deck, but he is very good. Thank you for making this deck green and blue, I guess. Some people were kind of mad that this wasn't red, but it's okay. For Davis. Next, we're running 1 Sora and Joe. You can run this at 2 if you like. I'm running this at 1 just because space is a bit tight and it's not super necessary, but if you do want to get more memory, they are pretty good for that. You can make the ratio 2-2 if you want. Stripping sources is pretty good in this current build and meta because there are still a lot of decks that rely on their Digimon's sources. So yeah, it's pretty good for that. And if you guys are running in a format with running this deck in a format with a lot of towers, then feel free to run this back at 2 or even 3 if you're comfortable with it. But yeah, running this at 1. Next, we're running 1 Hidden Potential Unleashed. So obviously this deck has green, so we're running this. And the good thing about this deck is actually suspending your Digimon is not bad because you can have ways to unsuspend it. So for example, if you suspend your Slayer Digimon, it'll unsuspend it. You can unsuspend itself. So it's pretty good, and obviously you have to have the green card on your field first. But yeah, it's pretty good, and running at 1 is fine. If you don't want to run this because you think, oh, it might brick in your hand, then you can just cut this out for one of the other options we talked about before. Next, we're running 2 Mega Death. So Mega Death is just here for removal. There are times when there's stuff that you can't remove. Stuff from your with your arsenal, so Mega Death is here to do that, and this is a green and blue deck, so you can have access to Mega Death. So in general, a lot of the Imperial Digimon stuff you can have access to. I think some people like to run the Davis and Ken also, but I think that card is not super good in this deck because you can't take advantage of its second skill. But if you have blue or green Digimon on the field, you will get extra memory. So it is an alternative to Sora and Joe in the sense that you can get 2 extra memory at the start of your turn. Next, we're running 1 of the Waymon skill, their option card. This is a card I'm experimenting with just because this card actually works really well with this deck. If you slap this card out, you're gonna have you potentially will have 2 really strong Digimon in your source, and you can use this card to just pop them back out. So you have 2 of these level 6 bosses on your field, and they do have pretty good skills on their own. And yeah, obviously you can potentially go into, if you pop it out and you have next turn, you can go back into the Examon again. So overall, lots of good things you can do with this deck. And thing is, this card is kind of expensive to play. It's 7 cost, but I think the benefits outweigh the cost just because you get 2 12 cost Digimon on the field for doing it. So yeah, this card, I'm experimenting with it. If you guys like it, let me know. And yeah, you might best bump this up back to 2 if you guys like this over the Hidden Potential Unleashed. And we're running 1 Ice Ball just because Ice Ball is so good. Choke your opponent, and it forces them to play around it for 1 turn. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck. It's a very, very fun deck to play, and I'm actually pretty happy with how, with the different tools and skills that we got with this card. Evade is definitely one of the cards that, one of the skills that I think really helps out with the deck. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck profile, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know down below, or if you guys have any suggestions for the deck. Yeah, again, this deck is very experimental for me right now. I haven't had too many times to playtest it, but it is a fun deck to play, and I would try to get more games out of this as soon as possible. But life has been super hectic for me right now, so that's why you've seen sharp decline in uploads, as well as just me posting less in general. And yeah, I will try to post at least once per week, but I will see. But that's pretty much it for this deck, guys. If you guys want to support the channel, feel free to use the affiliate links down below. I'll appreciate it a lot. But this is Karataku, and I'll see you guys next time.